Ephesians 5:18b through 19 says, "Instead, be filled with the Holy Spirit, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs among yourselves, and making music to the Lord in your hearts." I thought that was fitting for this occasion. I read and agree that music has been called the language of the soul, and the sacred can be heard in songs across religious traditions. I believe most people have a favorite spiritual piece of music that they turn to in good times and in bad times. I want to welcome you. We're delighted to have you join us as we celebrate a holiday season of music and observe Alabama's 200th birthday. In terms of this union, which is kind of like we're having the World Day, let us all turn around and meet some of your neighbors. We're all in this together. Thank you for your participation. We'll now have an opening prayer by Reverend Frank Rawls, a noted community pastor and leader in this city, and has done a lot with AMS. So I'm going to allow him to come down and heal. Thank you.
I ask you to take your thumbs, if you will. I'm going to involve you. Is that okay? All right. I want you to take your thumbs and put them down. Thumbs down. Thumbs down certain things that are wrong in the world in which we live. Injustices and barriers to reconciliation and divisions that have no business stand here. And then I'll take you and turn that thumb up. And rise that thumb up. The best that is within us and the best that is on us. And whenever I hold the thumb up during the prayer, and you're looking at it, keep your eyes open for the prayer. I hold the thumb up. I want to amen with you. Well, I know you're going to amen anyway, right? Here we go. Ready? We acknowledge you, God, the great weaver, and you are the weaver a tapestry tonight of unity. Amen. So we do present God this time to you, aware that you are here, that you are present, and if you are for us, who can be against us? Amen. In fact, nothing can separate us from the great love of God in Christ. Amen. And so today, God, we pledge ourselves to the cause of unity. True unity. Not fake, not thin, but deep unity that serves the soul and spirit as we hear music and the expression of hope and joy and flourishing love. We thank you for the gift of music and the power of unity that's discovered through the arts themselves. Amen. And now, God, we pledge this time to you that we might grow and connect more deeply than ever before and step forth to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly. This is our confident prayer, offering the power of the steadfast love of God that endures forever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that prayer, Reverend Rawls. We'll now have our unity song, this little light of mine, a congregation song, and the choir will lead us into that song. Thank you.
If you will, go ahead and stand to your feet and sing together. This is for my mind. This will light my This will light my
carry out their mission to rediscover the source of how spiritual, gospel, blues, and jazz music evolved and their impact on the world's art and culture. This is their second musical event. As a result of accepting this invitation to MC, I did a little study and read that one of my favorite theories was Wade in the Water. Allegedly recommends leaving dry land and taking to the water as a strategy to throw pursuing bloodhounds off of sage trails. Other songs like Sing No Sweet Chariot contain veiled references, they say, to the Underground Railroad. I just thought I'd interject that. I also am about to introduce a person to you all that most of you already know, Julian Butler, attorney Julian Butler. Was the county attorney, for 35 years, and he's here now to talk a little bit to us about the Alabama Bicentennial. He's a meeting member. Thank you.
I'm so pleased to be here tonight, and thank you for the invitation. 200 years ago this year, 1817, the Alabama Territory came into being when the state of Mississippi was created, and what had been the Mississippi Territory became the state of Mississippi and the Alabama Territory. Alabama wanted to be a state, and in February of 1819, Congress passed the necessary legislation to allow Alabama to draw up a constitution preparatory to being a state. And I want you to kind of think with me a minute as I quickly go through what happened in 1819 to compare it to what you hear about in Congress today. They passed in February the Enabling Act. An election was held in the then 22 counties of the Alabama Territory and elected 44 delegates. They met in Huntsville again on July 5th, 1819. A committee was appointed and in 15 days had written the Constitution for the state of Alabama. It passed unanimously, and in the 1st of August, all 44 delegates signed it. It was sent to Washington, Congress approved it, and on December 14, 1819, President James Monroe signed the document, making Alabama the 22nd state in the Union. It is sadly ironic that Constitution was considered the most liberal Constitution in the United States. Only Kentucky and Alabama let all free white men vote. They did not own property, they did not default the military. That was considered liberal. At that convention, among those 44 delegates, they were all white men. Thankfully, we've come a long way from there. In 2019, we will celebrate Alabama's bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of Alabama becoming a state. We have a great number of activities planned, and as time goes on, you will hear more about them. We hope you will participate in a great meeting. The Alabama legislature will have its orientation session here early in 2019. First session of the Alabama legislature had here in 1819. We will have all six of Alabama's constitutions. They've never been on display outside of Montgomery. They're not regularly on display. The month of July, they will be here on display in the archives in the original documents, beginning with the 1819 Constitution. In June of 1819, President James Monroe, you have to laugh when you think about presidents today when they tried. Monroe and two other men had been in Georgia. They were on the way to Nashville, unannounced, without any preparation. They rode into town, rode to the courthouse square. They were met by a crowd then and stayed 2 nights. The next night there was a banquet. We actually have the toast that made that banquet, and we're going to repeat that. We have educational involvements. There are a long line of activities. 2019 is also the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. So we will be cooperating with NASA and Space and Rocket Center in that celebration, also in June of 2019. This is the kind of activity that we're so proud to be a part of. We want this to be a community activity. We want every church, every organization to do something as part of bicentennial. And we want it to be people intensive. We want young and old, all the people of this community. This is where it happened. This is where Alabama became a state. And we want to celebrate that. In the back, as you leave tonight, there's a table with a good bit of information in regard to the statewide bicentennial. Please come stop by and pick up that material. But as I said, our greatest wish is that each of you in some way will participate in celebrating Alabama's birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. I stand now to introduce Dr. Rita C. Osserman. She's a published author and composer whose works have been read and performed around the world. She is also the featured composer in the dissertation on Angelique Clay, The Life and Music of Eurydice B. Osterman. She is the author of the book, What God Says About Music. Before recently retiring, she was a professor of music and a former chair of the department at Oakwood University, where she served for many years. She is a former director of the world-famous Aeolians of Oakwood University. Last but not least, I learned that when my sister lived in England, Dr. Osterman happened to visit the same church where my sister was a member in Cardiff, Wales. What joy was expressed that day over their chance meeting thousands of miles away from Alabama. Without further ado, I present to you our speaker for the evening, Dr. Eurydice Osterman. Thank you. And I let her come in whatever form she chooses.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. It is a pleasure for me to be here with you this evening. And I just put two and two together. I just found out that Cynthia is the sister of Cheryl. And that's who I met, Cheryl Sullivan, who also works at Oakwood now. When I went to Wales several years ago, just happened to run into her at church. That was so nice to see some familiar face. Well, tonight we're going to talk about spirituals. And I have entitled the presentation, Roots, Birth of a Song. And as we move forward, you can see the anguish on the images of the slaves there. And I adapted Psalm 137, verse 1, which said, "By the rivers in America, they sat down and wept when they remembered Africa. They hung their drums on willows in the midst thereof, because they could no longer sing their song in a strange land." And that is the beginning of the birth. Now, of the spiritual. Now, when we take a look at what the spiritual is, it was, first of all, the very first authentic American folk song. You see, when the Pilgrims and the Puritans and all the other immigrants came to America, they brought with them their folk music. But when the African slave came to America, they brought nothing, because they came from different places, and so they had different songs. They spoke different languages, although they were the same couple. And what happened was that they had to become ingenious in learning how to survive in a new and strange land. So, this is what they did. Using the dialect of Africa, piecing together the broken English, because they were not ready to read or write. So we had to learn how to speak and communicate by ear. And here is another piece to the puzzle. They're called spirituals because they had a deep, deep root in spirituality. That's the only thing that helped them to survive, their belief in God. And many of the songs are rooted in the texts of Old and New Testament verses. It was just mentioned that, we'll get to that in just a minute. I don't want to get too much ahead of myself. And so what we have here, because the deeply religious background of the spirituals and the melodies were handed down a lot of the time. Now, if you think about the different songs that are sung, the one scale that seemed to be used was the pentatonic scale, and that's a 5-note scale. And the notes just roll off their tongue, so to speak. Many of the songs that were used and melodies that were used in Africa, they could remember those. Remember, music is a universal language. You can hum a tune in any language, and in any country, someone can pick it up and sing along with you. And I had a very interesting experience in regard to spirituals. I had the opportunity to take a trip to, my first trip actually, to Africa, was to Zimbabwe. And I went with this organization that was going to kind of like reach back and just do some work there in that country. And I was sent to a university and was going to do music there, critique and used to program and make suggestions, etc. And I was going to do a little concert at the end of the turn time we were going to be there. And so I thought it would be good to use spirituals because they're easy to learn and they could sing them. Boy, was I in for a rude awakening. When I started teaching the songs, something was drastically missing. That feeling was not there. They sang the notes accurately and beautifully. But I had the epiphany. This was not their experience. So this was not their song. They could not sing it the way the African slave would have sung it. And as I pondered that, I thought, wow, this is really interesting. The concert turned out very well. But I learned a really valuable lesson from that experience. The song that I sang over here did not be sung over there in Africa, where slaves came from. So that was just a wonderful revelation for me. Then, these songs were influenced by, of course, oral tradition. There was no music to be written. Everything was sung and passed down orally. These are pre-Civil War songs that were used a lot of times in the Invisible Church. Now, the Invisible Church is another topic for another day, but actually, this is where the slaves would go and have their little worship setting out in the woods. They would call that the Invisible Church. Also, about 6,000 of these songs exist today. Now, let's move on to the next. There were coded messages. A couple of them were just alluded to a moment ago. Swing, O Sweet Chariot. Sometimes when the slaves had to communicate an escape being planned, they had to find a way that they could sing and talk to one another and pass this message on so that nobody but them would understand what was going on. Canaan land meant north. And wade in the water, of course, was a way to say, wade, get in the water to keep your scent from being picked up by dogs. These were very ingenious ways of being able to survive. But now, let's look at some of the songs. One song that I would like for us to sing right now is one of my favorites. Old Time Religion. Can you give me a D, please? And I want everybody to sing. Well, give me a C. That's a little time. Let's sing. No music. I want you to hear the voice because that is one of the key elements of the spirituals. They just vocal. No instrumentation whatsoever. So let's sing that. Give me that old time religion. 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 It's good enough for. It was good for Paul and Silas. 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 It's good enough. One more time, give me that old time religion. 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 It's good enough for me. Oh yes, that sounds so nice. Now something, I don't know if you noticed or you were listening while you were singing. There are different interpretations at certain spots of the song. And that is the uniqueness of the spiritual because there's nothing written down. One just sings it the way one feels it. But when you put it together, you have this wonderful blend of sounds. Now, there were different ways they sang back in that day. They had songs that they called call and response. There's a leader, and then there's the follower. And this next song that you see on the, Certainly, Lord, is an example of that. The leader would say, have you got good religion? The follower would say, certainly, Lord. Have you got good religion? Certainly, Lord. Oh, you want to sing? Well, let's just sing that one. Have you got good religion? Have you got good religion? Certainly, Lord. the slow type of songs. There were slow songs, there were lively songs. Let's go on to the next one. I'm going to sing, there were shout songs. I'm going to sing when the Spirit says sing. You know that one? Let's just sing that one. Gonna sing when the Spirit says sing. Gonna sing when the Spirit says sing. Gonna sing when the Spirit says sing. I the Spirit of the Lord. Good. So you hear the difference. And I remember there is one song. It is not a Negro spiritual, but it is a spiritual. Amazing Grace. Everybody knows Amazing Grace. And have you noticed that whenever there is a real tragedy in this country and people get together to pray, that seems to be the theme song of the event, Amazing Grace. And there was a news commentator that went around the country recording the different versions of Amazing Grace. And it is amazing how many different versions or interpretations, or in other words, how differently that spiritual is sung around the country. And you kind of heard a little bit of that at the very end of Certainly Lord, when we got to the end, certainly Lord. That's going to bring me in just a minute down to the point when we start talking about arrangements. Let's move on to the next one. Then there were slow songs. We don't necessarily have to do this one, but they had songs that represented every human emotion. Every human emotion. And the songs that had the religious themes are the ones that are called spirituals. Now, songs had different functions. As we will see, there were jubilees. And these were the songs that were just really getting them excited. Do you know Great Day? Oh, well, let's go to the next one. Great Day. This is original. I gotta put this one together. But give me that. Let's see. Let's try to sing that. Great Day. And great day, great day. Let's get there. Great day, Jesus. Zion's walls. Great day, the righteous marching. Great day, God's on the Zion's wall. And then usually there's a verse to the spiritual, and it's amazing. The verses can differ very all along. Let's go to the next one. Here, folk songs. They had now the folk songs are the really interesting ones because, as in every country, there is usually a folk song that talks about a happening, something that's going on in the neighborhood, and whatever. And so these are the kinds of songs that were being sung. I think my time is going by, so I'm going to move on quickly. Work songs, they have those. Let's keep going. Now, I want to stop here a minute and talk about arrangements. What began to happen is after the emancipation of the slaves, those songs became painful reminders of their experience. And so the spiritual began to fade. And it was revived in 1867 by the Fisk Jubilee Singers. They did sing the songs in their authentic four-part form. But spirituals became classical, in other words, because now as schools were opening up and people began to learn how to write music, we had now arrangements of spirituals. So this is why when you see a spiritual that is notated and a credit is given to someone, that means that person has arranged that. Because originally, the melody is an anonymous melody. It cannot be attributed to any person developing the melody. But when a name now is attached to it and when it is written out, that becomes an arrangement. And these now began to try to preserve the heritage, which is what this whole meeting is about, trying to preserve the heritage. Okay, let's move on. Now, we're going to skip quickly into this gospel arena. We know that Thomas Dorsey is the father of gospel music. Now, just to back up for a moment, during the mid-1800s, there was what was called the Great Awakening. It was the Second Great Awakening. The first one occurred in England. But the Second Great Awakening occurred here in America. And it was Dwight Moody and Ira Sankey that developed the gospel song. but it is nothing like gospel music. They are two entirely different genres and two entirely different things. They're like apples and oranges. I don't have time to really go into that tonight, but Thomas Dorsey, the father of gospel music, and just a quick story, he came converted, especially when his wife lost their child in birth and childbirth, and his signature song he wrote, "Precious Lord, Take My Hand." But you know, it's very interesting. Music has always had issues along the way. Because he was a jazz musician, or I should say secular musician, because most of his musical experiences were in what we would now call probably the clubs. When he became converted, his style came into the church, and it was rejected by the church. They would not have him. His music, they thought it was scandalous at the time. Can you imagine Precious Lord being scandalous? I think that may have been an exception. Let's just say that was an exception. But the point being is that because they rejected his music, there was one person who promoted it for him, and that was Mahalia Jackson. And so she began to sing his music, and as time went by, this began to change. Okay, I'm wrapping up soon here. Here we have gospel music. Now we're talking about this is a style of music, and it evolved in the 1940s, and it had religious themes and words of encouragement. But it was, as I said, not the same as the gospel song. Today, gospel music has become a commercial product for the music industry, and that means that it is music to be bought and sold. And that's another story for another time. But let's move on. Now, the effect of gospel music on the spiritual is still saying it's gospel music is making the spiritual become extinct. And you today are losing their heritage, the same problem that existed early on. So I commend this organization for taking effort to keep this particular genre of music alive, because it will help to remember from whence we have come and the beautiful legacy of this music. I have much, much more to say about this subject, but I think my 15 minutes have long been spent. So I'm going to end here. I think this is the end of the presentation. Thank you very, very much.
Are we going to do question and answers? Okay, take about 5 minutes.
Yes. Any questions? Yes.
Here.
Oh, she asked me if I was going to play something. Oh, maybe I well, any other questions?
You mentioned Amazing Grace. It's important. Amazing Grace for many of us in predominantly white church is an amazing song. Not only because it's a theme of redemption and hope, but because John Newton himself, who wrote this, was a participant in the slave trade. And this shapes us in our tradition, horrible. So that song does something for us to help us acknowledge and confess being a part of that horrible tradition. But the words of grace come are beautiful. So I didn't know if you wanted to comment on that. Amazing Grace, I think, can hold together many cultures and faiths beautifully.
Yes. Amazing Grace is what we call a white spiritual. And during the trading of the slaves back and forth, hearing those melodies, because Amazing Grace is also built on a pentatonic scale as well. And so hearing all of that touched John Newton's heart and softened it, and actually he became converted because of that. And it has had a tremendous impact and influence over the whole country. That is one song that says, I like to acknowledge my little niece back there. What do you want to ask me?
What's your favorite spiritual?
What is my favorite spiritual old-time religion?
Today we talk about songs now that are probably called the praise song. And every church has a praise team. I wrote in the Euro, when the gospel song, heard the message. And the message was sufficient that when somebody came into the church building, they may not be a Christian. The message of the song was the gospel being preached. It could be preached in a song. Personally, I don't see that and hear that in the praise songs that we see so popular today. Can you expound on that a little bit about the differences in roles that are being played by the praise song as opposed to the roles that the gospel song carry?
Very briefly, because I have a whole series, as a matter of fact, I wrote a book that deals with that. And that book is called Worship and Praise Him, H-I-M-N. And as I briefly mentioned before, what's happening today, commercialism has taken place. And it began in 1969 when Edwin Hawkins wrote Oh Happy Day. And that song crossed the line from the religious side over to the secular side. And from there, the music industry found a way to make money. This is why I say that gospel music today is a commercial product. And it has, and when you say you are hearing the message, a gospel message per se, the industry, if you will notice, many songs are what I call have two elements. A lot of songs have two elements, not all of them, but many of them have two elements. They're pronoun songs and they're crossover songs. Pronoun songs mean that they never call God by name. And for instance, the song You Raise Me Up. Who's you? That's a pronoun song. Then crossover songs are those songs that can have a romantic implication. You may be talking about God in one setting, but it is very appropriate or it suggests something romantic in another setting. And so this is one of the reasons why there is that difference. Commercialism has made the difference. Okay, I speak more on that, but yes. One hand? Yes.
First of all, I want to say I could listen to you a lot longer. But I want to ask you about your books because I would like to read what you have to say. So,
Okay.
Her Church 1.
Yes, as a matter of fact, you see me afterwards. I just have to have one in the car. So,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
I'm like the young lady out here, I can keep listening, so we have to have something else so we can make sure we all get to learn more. I stand now to introduce Pastor Johnny, or Elder Johnny Jones. He's noted for his preaching and his singing. He's the pastor of Liberty Primitive Baptist Church and the vice moderator for Indian Creek Primitive Baptist Association. I've known him for years. I grew up in Berkeley, out where Liddy is, and he was my pastor, and he was my mother's pastor for years, and I love him dearly. He and my mother and a whole lot of people out there prayed me through a whole lot of stuff, and you get to see the finished product today. I have appreciated him for years for his many talents, and tonight he'll show the great Huntsville community one of his greatest gifts, the gift of song.
It is a great pleasure to be here, and I feel honored to be among you, especially on this occasion. I count myself, I guess, a little different because of the fact that I believe whatever you do ought to come from on the inside. Because you cannot give it the best unless you bring it from the inside. A song that does not fit you is hard to sing. Yeah. But if you have a problem and then you moan and precious Lord, it fits you, don't it? It will bring tears from your eyes. I grew up on the farm, and I always liked to listen to music. As a young man, my greatest part was to listen to blues. Y'all but it always reached something. the inside. And then I was introduced to the gospel. And that really did. And as I grew up and became a member of the church, I joined choir. And they would let me sing whatever they felt like, you know. And after finally they told me, you can't sing. But they messed up on me. During the election, they said, wanted me to sing my song. All right. I get out on the song. Everybody else did what it was. You don't go, you don't have to go. I don't know anybody ever did it. I went to sing it, and I guess the people forgot the election, and they started. and from that point on, I was able to sing a song in the choir. I thank God for all that, the ways that He had brought me. Now, I am what I am. No more. We're going to sing a little song. I don't have to worry about anything. You see, I was converted. When I was seeking my soul's salvation, I laid down at night, and I remember a saying that a lady used to ask me, as if you down in the shape you're in, where was this anything? And then, when I was converted and joined the church, I was able to sing this song. I don't have to worry where I spend eternity. I don't know. I don't know music. You just have to, when you pick me up or what, but I'm going to sing. Amen. I don't have to worry where I'll spend eternity. I don't have to worry where I'll spend eternity. You see, Jesus bled, I can't see. I'm so glad that He included me. Well, now I don't have to worry where I'll spend my eternity. Not only wake up at His throne, and they crown Him Lord of all. You see, all of our children gonna be there in that city so bright and fair. Well, now, how we shout it, storm and cold. Oh, that made me a brand new soul. No, I don't have to worry where I'll spend my eternity. No, I don't have to worry where I'll spend my eternity. No, I don't have to worry where I'll spend my eternity. You see, Jesus paid, I can't see. I'm so glad they included me. Well, I don't have to worry.
And I can still go to church out there and know Him, and folk know how to make that feet sound like music. And you can feel the Holy Spirit all up in there. I enjoy it. Thank you, God, and thank you, Reverend Jones. We'll now enjoy some songs by the St. John AME Church. And I want to say a few things about the choir. I believe that Alabama observes its 100th birthday as a state. It's fitting that we have a part of the birthday party at St. John AME Church. It was founded by William Council, I believe, one of the greatest leaders in Alabama history. Council loved music, and so do we. And under the leadership today of Mr. Reginald Peterson.
is our God. Amen.
I want to say a couple of things that I don't think he's aware of that I know about him, and maybe he can figure out who it is that I got my information from. It says, first of all, he likes to bring church to class. He uses a lot of biblical references when he teaches. For example, when you turn grade papers, he sometimes says, this page is bleeding like a sacrificial lamb. And the students don't mind reacting with Jesus help us. Well, thank you, Lord. Also, Dr. Connie has a different view of exams. He tells the students they are celebrations, not tests. Dr. Connie is ready to teach when he steps in the doorway. One of his most common greetings as he walks in the classroom is, are you ready? Good. He does not pause between his question and his reply. Dr. Connie shares with the students his early college experiences. He also gets their attention by saying things like, Beethoven might have been a black person. On almost every one of, this is a quote, my visit to Dr. Connie's office, I noticed he's eating crackers. He said, I don't know what kind of crackers, but they look like grits. Then he says, Dr. Carney does know him by name, not the name that I call him, so I'm just going to call him Kevin, and I'll see if he'll figure out what I'm talking about. Now we're going to listen to some songs from AME Music Ensemble. Thank you.
We've been here for a while, and we've been entertained, we've been informed, and the group here, AME Music, we've been here now about 20 years, and we play all kinds of music, and we're very honored with the Tennessee Valley Jazz Society as invited us. It was on the first time we were talking about jazz, and I was talking was ready to hear it, perhaps ready to lead too. So what I want to say is that the evolution of the spiritual has come a long way. We still have challenges. And as an instructor of the children to these levels, Dr. Austin was, we have a challenge here with our young people because they cross over and showing the real validity of the spirit, keeping it alive, is something we really have to really strive hard to do because again, the gospel is really taking root and spread out everywhere, and many writers and arrangers have come from the other side come over here to the pot. So our money now is again. And so we've got that commercial side. But we're going to try to represent some of the songs that have been taken and either added a jazz treatment to it or it's going to be a jazz arrangement, and then also going to try to show some of what happened in the spirit evolved and got a form which is called kind of bluesy. One of the songs that has that kind of format to it. Hope you would go with it. We're going to start with a thing called Wade in the Water. As you know, Wade in the Water was a song that was used to help our misslaves that were trying to get free. And they took the Wade in the Water because that was a way to avoid being trapped by dogs. And so we're going to make this rendition of Wade in the Water. We're going to let you name the second song. There's some things we're going to have to do to give it flavor. The next two tunes, the first one, When I Fall in Love, ballad, kind of sprung from some of the slow numbers that the church evolved. Then we're going to do a number that some of you will realize were at least my age and maybe a little bit younger. They call Route 66.
When I fall in love, it will be forever.